No one knows you, no one likes you, no one trusts you. You got to figure out how to get those three things.
You can't fake TikTok.
Yeah.
If it's a good video, it's going to get views. If it's a bad video, it's not going to get views.
Yeah. The hardest part of this whole journey is that people don't continue on. They're not consistent.
Yeah.
The thing that makes a lot of them fail is that they give up.
It is very hard to grow a following, and it's a commitment. Yeah, you can cheat and you can put a number there, but at the same time, what's the point?
Welcome back, everybody. We are here at the Wealthy Creator Podcast. Once again, do have a special guest for you today. We're going to be hearing from this guy's a genius when it comes to going viral. Runs $1 million business, helping other entrepreneurs and individuals go viral as well. I can't even count how many views he probably has now. Is in the, getting close to that billion number probably, but he's doing great. I introduce to you today, Ryan Magin. How you doing, bro?
Thank you for having me, man. Appreciate you.
Likewise.
I don't know the view count.
You don't know that you lost? No, lost a long time
it's
ago.
Hard to keep track. I know personally, I have 100 million views on TikTok.
Okay.
That's what I do know because I check it.
Yes. Yes. And we're going to get into it because I know you do help other creators. And so if you add it up, probably, all the other creators.
It's a lot. We post around 4,000 videos a month. So.
Okay. But tell me, just to start off, tell me what got you into the content creation process.
Yeah. I mean, I've been making videos, I think now like 12, 13 years. I've always kind of come back to making videos. My dad is actually a videographer, so I didn't care about videos until I found the internet and realized I needed to make videos to get popular. So he never actually taught me how to do them, but by osmosis, he did videos, and I was like, oh, I can do videos too. So I started taught myself editing. But yeah, where did I get started? I got started mainly, I was doing affiliate marketing. I was a pro BMX racer, so I was basically trying to get myself sponsored. So I was making videos to kind of just basically get free shit.
Yeah.
Basically the best way to put it. So I was doing that, and then that led into, making videos for the internet, which was actually not YouTube at the time. It was Vidler. Vidler and Vimeo were the ones to use.
Okay.
So I was posting videos, and I learned really quickly, people like when they share your videos, but these were I had a flip cam, one of those little stuck in the computer. So I started with that, and then that kind of morphed into me going to YouTube, which is I was teaching people how to dress better to get laid. I did that for about 2 years, maybe 3. I was basically had some partners in the dating market, and did some digital products there. But I always kind of came back to making videos for myself, more talking head style, educational, and that went into TikTok, and then TikTok just kind of. That was the home run for me.
Yeah.
Right around the pandemic time, nobody was really focusing on TikTok. And I was like, oh, this seems like a good idea to focus on this 100%. And I did. And, it was one client after another I was the only TikTok agency that in existence. So I had kind of had the whole market share.
Yeah, random market. That's right.
Yeah, and then there's the blue ocean. But all while doing that, I always focused on at least making good videos for myself and creating, different shit. And that's where the subtitles came from.
Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack, right?
Yeah.
And before we get into the whole subtitle thing, and because that's a big, that's a big part of your journey. I first just want to go back. You said something about. It took this, you knew it would take it to be popular, right? Because I think that's the thing for, a lot of creators out there. On our end, especially, we deal with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people that do social media specifically to help, drive business. But there are those creators that are I just want the recognition, right? Yeah. And I believe personally, and this is when we coach at Wealthy Creators, are some of the things that we talk about, there's a kind of a balance in becoming popular and, driving your business. Takes a little bit of, one to do the other.
Yes.
So tell me, you talked about it you knew that's what it was. For you starting off, though, obviously you talked about your dad, so it kind of ran in your, it's in the blood a little bit.
Yeah, it was definitely in the blood.
How was the goal essentially I want to gain the notoriety, the popularity?
When it came to TikTok, yes. When I started TikTok, I was 100% I want to make money from this. I know I need to get popular. And it was more or less just with TikTok specifically, prior to me getting on TikTok, and this is pandemic time, lockdown area, I didn't really have a following anywhere else. But I was friends with all people that had big followings. And I learned early on that the more followers you have, the more money you end up making. So it was, okay, how do I get followers quickly? And at the time it was TikTok. So like there was nobody really focusing on it. And that was kind of, so when I started TikTok, it was with the sole intention to make money from it.
Yeah.
And, I just truly believe like, views solve everything. Like, so if you get more views, like everything just kind of comes into place. Views drive followers, followers drive revenue. So it's like, it all starts with getting views. And, in working with some of the biggest like creators, all they care about is views. Mm-hmm. So I kind of adopted that early on and was like, okay, so if I just keep focusing on going viral and getting views, I'm going to make more money eventually. Right. It is like a long-term play. I mean, I probably am like the worst at selling versus getting views on my account. I'm getting better at that. Yeah. But I mean, most people's problems can be solved. They just got more views on their videos.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and me being in the role that I'm in here with Ryan Pineda, that's the game, right? Mm-hmm. Like,
yep.
It doesn't matter what else happens. If we got a bunch of videos to bomb, we not doing something right? Like we need to make sure that we continue to get not only just views, but unique views too, like new people to come in. Mm-hmm. I always say like, if it's just the same people, you get the same amount of views every video, you're kind of preaching to the choir at that point, right? Mm-hmm. Like you already have those individuals in your ecosystem. So, I understand totally what you mean. Views do solve a lot of issues.
They do. And I feel like people don't look at them as it's like they want the money, but like the money comes from the views.
Right.
Like you can't have one without the other. Like you need attention. And I mean, especially in like the world that we live in now, like it's all about attention. Like, I mean, you see it working here, obviously working with Ryan, like the more you're relevant, the more money you're making.
More money you make.
Yeah.
And there was something else you said too. You talked about you were, was it BMX riding, right?
Yep.
And so you talked about you were using the social media or the videos as kind of a tool to get, your sponsors and things like that. What, like, in that process, like during that time period, what's like one of the main things you learned going through that when it came to making the videos?
Yeah, I mean, so I was never the best BMX racer. Like, I was a professional, but I fell in this weird, like, I'm too good to be amateur, but not good enough to be a high-paid professional.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird, like, spot where you're like I am a pro, I get paid to ride my bike, but I'm not making enough money to live.
Yeah.
So I turned to video, early on, just because like, I can make myself popular. I can make the parents like me because, they're sharing my videos because I was training their kids basically. So that's what I did. I just, I made a DVD teaching BMX how to get faster on their bike. And then to sell the DVD, I started making like workout videos targeted at BMX racers to get faster on their bike. Yeah. And what I learned early on was the kids weren't watching it. It was all the parents. So when it came to getting sponsors, the parents liked it, and the parents had the money. So I was getting sponsors and free stuff because I learned early on that people wanted the attention of the parents because the parents have the money.
Yeah.
So I think that was like a really good lesson is like, when you have a market, it might not be the one that you think it is, but it, I mean, at the end of the day, people have to spend money. And that was like what I ended up targeting ultimately, and people wanted those eyeballs. So I learned from that if I make videos to get eyeballs, people will buy stuff. And that was like, so even back then it was, I mean, my videos weren't good. I wasn't a good video editor.
And it's good that you say that, right? Like, because a lot of people that come into the space now that are trying to figure it out, they're so new to video. And I always tell them like, your first ones are your worst, no matter what, right? Like no matter what. Like I look back on stuff that we did for Ryan a year ago, and I'm like, why did we film it like that? Why is the color like that? What were we doing? Like the audio sucked sometimes. Like it's like because as we go through this process and the journey, you begin to get better and better. But people have to know, like, we didn't start off this polished creator that he started off as. And so I think it's important to kind of like share that message whenever we can because of that, right? Like, I know some people, the hardest part of this whole journey is that people don't continue on. They're not consistent.
Yeah.
And I think like, the thing that makes a lot of them fail is that they give up. Quicker than they really should.
It's such a long term, like content as a whole is such a long game.
Yeah.
Like it really is. Like you're not doing, I mean, you might do a few videos and then you get like some virality, but it's like then you got to do it again.
Right.
So it's like it's
that.
consistently showing up, and I think you're right. Most people don't like. That's where they lack. They just don't keep showing up. Like that's something that Ryan does really well. Yeah. Like he just shows up a lot consistently, and that I've been doing that for a long time, and it took TikTok to the point where it was like, okay, now it's like people are paying attention to me.
Right.
But I was still showing up. Like I was posting videos on YouTube, I was posting videos on Instagram. Like it's like, okay, but then TikTok just took off.
Right. So. It wasn't always millions of views every video, right? Like,
no.
You know, and there are outliers, right? Like even now, you look around at the landscape. So I think Hermosi posted something today. It did 300,000 in like 2 hours, and I was like, but that's like those are outliers. Those aren't individuals that like every creator doesn't come on and just see that success once they gain a little bit of a following. And so to anybody that's listening, for sure, like be encouraged on where you're at in the journey. Because again, your consistency will pay off, right? And you talked about it, as far as like knowing what to kind of present. Because that's a big key as well that I think is missed a lot. And so you talked about how you knew who your market was first, and you realized who had the money to spend.
With the BMX, it was definitely. With TikTok, it's a little different. Like, my strategy now is just to reach everybody, because I just want to go viral. Because I don't think people realize like my business is going viral,
right?
So the more I'm going viral, it's like a business card. So it's like, I always have to be going viral.
Yeah.
And then to do that, I make videos about kind of whatever I want as far as, this is a popular topic. But at the same point, they're not random. I'm just looking for like culturally popular things.
Right,
What do people care about right now? What can I make a video about that I have some sort of expertise around that I can help somebody, at least educate them a little bit, and make a video about it. And I think people don't realize that, especially with my content. It's like, it's not random.
It feels random, but it's not random. Yeah. It's all intentional. Story time.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I like I said, in the coaching program, because you've been on the WealthCon stages, you've been a part of this whole thing as it's continued to go. And being a coach, every time that you've either gone on stage, done a workshop, or done a video, because a lot of people follow you, done a video about making broader content.
Yeah.
I've always had to clean up what you said. Right? And so, but I think like what they're hearing is I can go make a video of my dog, get a bunch of views, get a bunch of followers.
Yeah.
What the individuals that are in our programs who are entrepreneurs and business owners, what they don't understand is your dog content isn't going to convert to any type of sale.
It's not. It's just reach.
It's just reach. Yeah. And so I always go like, he's absolutely right on everything he's saying, right? Like right now, if I want to go viral, I'll go down to the strip and I'll find somebody to smack. And I know I'll go viral for just smacking a random person, right? I might go to jail too.
Yeah, you might get arrested.
But I'm at least I'm gonna have a million viewed video, right?
Yeah, it might be worth it.
But I'm saying that to say like that doesn't drive anyone to Wealthy Creator or anyone into any of the organizations that we have. And so it's like figuring out how can I go down to the strip to do something that makes sense, that can convert. Is more of what I want to do, right? It may be broad. I may not ever mention Wealthy Creator to someone, or I may not ever mention it, but it does relate to how I make some content. And then maybe I'll do a video responding to what I just did, talking about Wealthy Creator and why I did it, but trying to make sense out of it, right? Like I always bring up like the content about the watch.
Yeah.
I'm like, Ryan's never just flexed, right? Without a piece of value. I was like, so he may talk about he spent $40K on this watch, but then he tells you that he made this video because he knew it would be a write-off because this is his job now in making content, right? So it does circle back around. You can make as broad of content as you want, but boy, you should hear him. You should hear him. He's like, I'm not doing any more talking heads. I'm not doing any more. I'm not scripting anymore. I'm just going to get on there and talk. And I'm like, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. And so
I feel like people misinterpret my message as far as like, because I'm like coined like anti-niche guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not totally true.
Right.
Like I still believe in niche content. I just like 80-20 principle. I just do 80% more broad reach stuff because that's more, to me, that is niche content.
Yep.
So it's, but then there's like that 20%, which is like, I like making videos about how to make videos that go viral, but those aren't going to go viral.
Yeah.
Like those are for like creators, and those more show my expertise. So I feel like, especially with like and what you're sharing, like people see that what we're doing, it's more personality based content.
Right.
And like I do think there's a shift happening as far as like with creators, and I mean you see it kind of with Ryan, that people are attached to people. They want to buy from people.
Yeah.
So like even if you're doing a video about a watch or a video about his Rivian or a video about a Tesla, like they're random, but they're his personality, and people are they're following people based on their personality. Like everybody's making niche videos. Everybody's teaching you how to make money with real estate, or everybody's teaching you how to start a business, make $10K a month. That shit's a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
But what's unique is like Ryan Pineda.
Yeah.
His stories. So that's kind of like when people see like I just think they misinterpret my thing or like my content as a whole because they're like, oh, he's like anti-niche. He doesn't believe in that. It's like, no, like you are the niche. Right. The person is the niche. Yeah. And when the person is the niche, money follows because you're buying based on the person. And I think that is people don't see that with my content. So.
Yeah, no, they don't realize it, and I always have to tell them too, like you realize his business is going viral.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so there's a difference in what you're trying to do and what he's doing. But what he's doing is the correct strategy to use for his business. You got to find what that means for you and what it is that you're really trying to do. But yeah, man, those conversations happen every time. I'm like, anytime I see Magin on the schedule, I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm gonna have at least 4 conversations with people that are in our one-on-one coaching about their strategy changing because they're ready to just do any type of content they want.
Well, and it's also too, it has to be a mix. Like, and I mean, I joke with Ryan because we were selling an event, and you have to sell too. Like, if you don't sell, like you don't move product or you don't move seats, and it is kind of a balance because like I fall more on, I would say, the creator side versus marketer side. I know how to market, I know how to make money on the internet, but like I've been focused so long on just getting views and growing an audience that I've forgot that I need to sell shit. But I mean, I think that I think most people start very prematurely. They're trying to make money from day one, and I don't necessarily believe that's the best strategy. I feel like you should, if you're going to start making content, you should like just commit. Like, oh, I'm going to do this for a year,
right? And
I might not make any money. That's okay. Right. But I need to grow a following.
Look, I need to do it. Yeah. Like, and I mean, I always tell people, like, even my history with Ryan and seeing where they were when I first got in versus where we're at now. I watched our audience kind of be trained in a way, right? You condition them to expect and think certain things. And so the trust that he has, he gained that because he was consistently providing some type of product, some type of service, some type of value for people to kind of attach themselves to. So it makes it very easy for him to go, all right, I'm having this event, even though you had one last week, right? Or I'm having, right? Like it makes it easier because they understand that each one comes with a lot of value and he's already gained that trust. And so like when I'm coaching, I'm like, look, y'all, no one knows you, no one likes you, no one trusts you. You got to figure out how to get those 3 things.
Yeah.
Right. And if that means like sharing your experiences, sharing your lifestyle, sharing some like broader personal things to you though, like you have to do it. And I got people that are entrepreneurs, they're doing really well, like millions of dollars a month on their businesses. And they refuse to talk about their success.
Yeah. Well, it's also unique because it's awkward to talk about your success.
It is.
Like, you have to like, here's how much money I made, or here's this. Right. And it's weird.
Yeah.
But it's also proof. Right. And if you don't show proof, people don't believe you.
They don't trust you.
Like the internet right now as a whole is very skeptical.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're swiping, you're skeptical.
Oh yeah.
Like you're like, I don't believe this person. He's lying to me. He's a scam. Like, so you have to show a lot of proof. And how do you show proof? Well, that's where like you kind of have to flex.
Yeah.
And you have to show what you have. So that's where like obviously watch content, car content, like it's real.
Yeah.
Like this is my car. This is my watch.
Show and tell, right? Like tell me that this is what I can achieve too, as long as I trust and take the steps that you're offering.
Yeah, it's aspirational, and that's what we talk about. Like aspirational content is, I think people don't really. Like, they love motivation. They love being inspired. But when you look at somebody, it's like when you look at somebody like Ryan Pineda, you're like, he's aspirational.
Yeah,
like. People look to him like, I want to be like him. And on social media, you're basically just kind of picking who you want to be like.
Right.
So then that's who you're following. Like, oh, I like his views on this. I like, so it's like you're picking people's different bits of their personality to relate to be them. Mm-hmm. And I don't think people like see it that way, because it's weird. Like, oh, I want to be like him. But it's like, I want to have a bunch of houses. I want to make a lot of money. I want to have a nice car. I want to have a business. I want to have employees. It's very aspirational.
Right.
So the more you can show aspiration, and that's kind of what people like Cardone, like Hormozy, all the big guys, they're aspirational.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're making content, you're not like, you have to be something that people aspire to be.
Right.
So and you have to show that. So that I think the people are, oh, I'm just going to give information. It's like, okay, well, yeah, but let's say you're giving like real estate advice. It's like, that's great. Like,
good night.
But once I buy a house, am I ever going to watch your content
Am I ever going
again?
to watch it again? That's what I keep explaining that to people too. Like, what is separating you from the individual that's in your same class right now, in your group call? What is separating you from that individual? You're doing the same thing. You all both wholesale. You're telling me the same strategies and tips to wholesale. What's separating you? I may actually just like your voice better than I like the other guy, and that makes me follow, and I don't follow the other. Like, there's things that you have to present to make people want to stay. All right? Like, yeah, you gave me some value in one video. I appreciate that. I'm going to go take it. I'm going to go apply it. I don't never need to hear you again because I'm applying it now.
Yep.
What's getting me to come back, right?
Well, it's also opinions. Like, people want to relate to, like, it's like factual-based opinions where you're like, this is how I do this.
Yep.
People want that. Yep. Like, because we're gravitated towards that. We're gravitated towards opinions. We're gravitated towards, just ideas and like, I mean, people don't do that enough.
No.
Like, you have to be polarizing, at least now with content. You have to say, this is how I do this.
Yep.
And I mean, we do that a lot with, when we're filming people. It's like, tell me why you do this.
Right.
Like this is weird. Like, I want to know why you do that.
Why you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, using I, my, those type of titles always work well. Quantifying, putting a number to it. Mm-hmm. We would put numbers down to like the cents. There's no way we know what the cent is on the
specificity. People want like details are proof, and details build trust. So it's like the more detailed of a story you can make or extract from somebody if you're filming them or when you're making a video, like, the more detailed it can be, that shows expertise.
Yeah.
So I think the internet is littered right now with like very broad videos that they're not tactical at all. So if you can break things down into tactics and ideas and details, like, you win.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't want to leave the BMX thing too fast. I want to kind of gauge on that because I think, like, for those individuals that are super concerned about monetizing quickly or trying to monetize what they've been doing it for a year now and they still not seeing anything. I think the sponsorships, the affiliates, those are one way to really quickly, figure out how to make some money on all this work that you're putting in and making videos. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, if you get views, if you figure out the act of getting views on videos, like, there's ad revenue. Mm-hmm. Like, I make like $2,000 a month from Facebook.
Wow.
Just on ads.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like free money. It's just there. It's like, just because my videos are getting views. And then you have like YouTube Shorts. Instagram doesn't really pay a whole lot, but it kind of lumps into Facebook too. But I think if you're making content, it's like the more popular you get, money just shows up. Mm-hmm. And I think that's hard for people to wrap their heads around because, like, for example, me, like, I don't sell anything on my TikTok. Like, I've never sold anything on my TikTok. Mm-hmm. But I checked the DM last week and the head of marketing for RCA Records sent me a DM.
Wow.
I don't know how that's going to come into money.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty cool DM.
Yeah. Like, there's opportunity there for sure.
So I think, content is like blind faith. You have to just believe that money will come if you put this effort in and you grow something. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe that. And like, I try to tell that to the clients because everybody starts with the ROI mindset first. And even when it came to BMX, like, I was selling a DVD, but I didn't sell that many DVDs. But what I did get was bike sponsors and companies reaching out to me, so it's like, hey, can you help us do our videos here? So it's like, there might be avenues that open up as far as how to make money, but you don't even see them yet.
Yeah.
So I think people get so blinded by like, I have to make a video and I have to make money from it. And it's like, okay, what if you didn't make any money from it? But in a year, you made a lot of money from it.
A lot of,
So I think that there's you have to kind of have that mindset because what else is going to get you through it? Like it's a drag. Like making videos every day sucks.
Yeah.
Like you have to show up, you have to be creative, you have to talk, you have to edit or pay somebody to edit. It's expensive, it's hard work, and it's
tedious.
over and over and over and over. And burnout is real. Like even when I was like, I'm glad I don't have to make BMX videos anymore, but I made more BMX videos than you probably should, like hundreds.
Yeah.
Like you have to make videos about the same shit over and over and over again. And that's kind of determination that's what separates people. I mean, you see like somebody like Pineda, like he makes a lot of the same videos. Yeah. But people like to hear him talk about that. Yeah. And he does it over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah. So
I love that. I love that you said that. I love that you said that you make the same thing over and over again. Because it's so true. Yeah. Like there's times where like I know that we have 2 videos of Ryan's that's the exact same thing. But what's interesting is you got one with a beard and one without. Yep. And just that little difference makes for a good scenario on which one would get better views or which one. I mean, I remember we talked about it like, hey, for this video, wear the thigh high shorts. Right? Yeah. We're going to show the full body on this one. Like he's still talking real estate. He's still talking the same stuff. It's just a different view of different things. And so it's, I'm glad you kind of mentioned that because I think people get stuck on ideas, topics, trying to figure out what to talk about next. I know for you personally, your content, you have the pleasure of going, all right, what are other people talking about? I can talk about that too. Yep. And you have the pleasure of going, what's trending today? I could go talk about that too. With a creator like Ryan, it's a little bit more difficult because he's not the news guy, right? Like, and so I believe too, like that's a big part of the rate that we're growing at. That's a big reason why, because we don't tackle every single thing, right? Like we should have made a submarine video a week ago, right? But that's one of those things where like, you have the pleasure of doing that. What would be some advice to an individual that's probably like in Ryan Pineda's shoes that doesn't necessarily do news, but wants to tackle some of those trends?
Well, I love interview style content. I mean, I've adopted that. I mean, anybody that watches my stuff, like I think, and also too, it's like, I don't consider myself an interviewer. It's just a type of content that does well. Yeah. So it's like, okay, if something's doing well, let's do more of it. But I feel like asking people questions, anybody can do that. Right. So it's like, if you're ever struggling for like content, it's like, okay, let me just talk to somebody. Like, let me ask them about what they do, or let me say what, like, I like to look at somebody and go, what is unique about this person? That like, and if I had to ask them one question, what does everybody want to know? Yeah. And it's like, that's led me down the path of like, I had a viral video about a guy that, he had a friend that gave himself cauliflower ear to attract women. And then another one was like, I interviewed a guy with one arm. What it's like living life with one arm. Yeah. Like, that's content. That's like normal everyday stuff. It's just like, you have to ask people questions.
Yeah. When you're out, because a lot of times you do them when you're at events and you're out and about. Do you like just see the individual and like, all right, I'm going to go ask him a question, or like, how do you go about?
Yeah. I mean, I do go to events looking for content. Okay. Like that's the goal. Like I joke but a Pineda event is worth like 50 million views. Yeah. Like for me.
For sure.
Because of the people I'm going to, and I have found that when I've approached people like for interview content at like the mall, at like Target, like, Walmart, like, people that come to events generally have more interesting things to say. Okay. And that's, I don't want to make, degrade anybody. No. But if you're going to an event, you're naturally a person that's like aspiring to do something better. Mm-hmm. And that generally makes for better video content. Yeah. And they're more apt to talk. Like when I've gone to the mall and walked up to people and like if I approach 10 people, I might get one video. Mm-hmm. And then of that one video, it might suck because they're terrified of talking. So I do tend to put myself in situations where people can talk, and there are unique people. Mm-hmm. So like when I look at somebody, I'm like, okay, why do you like the White Sox? Like right. I look for something that I think is okay. What's interesting about this person? And some people are generally more interesting than others, and I look for that. Like, I interviewed a guy with face tats, at one of Pineda's events, and that video got like 4 million views. It's like, what's it like living life with face tats? Right. Like, do people judge you?
What am I doing at Pineda's events, bro? Like, I should be trying to go get 4 million views on a video.
I start like, that's how I look at events when it comes to, because there's a condensed group of people that can talk. So it's like, I can get a lot of videos pretty quick. Like if, and anybody can do this. Like and it doesn't have to be like, a Pineda event. It could be like, a local real estate event. It could be a local like entrepreneur meetup. Like if you're putting yourself in situations to go meet other people, you probably aren't afraid to be on camera and you have something interesting to say. So I started attaching events to views, and that's, I don't speak at every Ryan Pineda event, right? But I go to all of them because I'm going to stand outside and myself and Luis and we also found if we use a phone, you get better videos because most people are afraid of cameras.
Right.
So like I have a specific filming phone. Like it's an iPhone 13. I bought a cage for it. We have a handle. It has its own microphone. It was like, I bought it. I paid for it. It's not like on a payment plan. That is my filming phone. And it stays in a bag. It stays in my backpack. It's always there. So when we go to events, like Luis is, works with me, we have the filming phone. And we have found that, at least, events, most people don't care. They're used to cameras. But like specifically when you go out in public and you're interviewing people and talking, they're not afraid of a phone. But they will fucking clam up and not talk when the moment they see a camera.
Yeah. We learned that too. Like even just doing testimonials at events. The moment we would put the mic on them, like they wouldn't even remember what they wanted to say. And I was like, just tell me what you said when I asked you to come, right? Like
before the camera was on, you said it great.
I literally asked you because I wanted to know if you had something to say. And the moment that mic goes on and that red dot is flashing, it's like, oh boy, like we're gonna have to really edit this. We're gonna have to really fix this. And so, I totally can relate. I totally get what you're saying. One thing too, I noticed that you do at events because I'm around, so I see everything. I noticed that you were, not only were you offering to do like a video for your page, but you would also do for others. And that's a great way to also kind of collaborate and get that awareness out as well. Talk a little bit about collaborations and how, often you see that works.
Like interview style content for me, the collabs. Like I don't really pimp out like my clients. I don't like people. I just don't feel good talking about it. Like I don't want to use you to get business. It's just, I have testimonials and stuff like that, but I love collabing. I love collabing with people that aren't big,
right?
Like because it's reaching new people, and it's also too a great way to get business is I film a video with somebody. That said video gets a million views. Viral. You're probably going to want to work with me now. So it's, I do, there are a lot of ulterior motives to like me doing collabs, but, again, too, it's like, it's easier to grow if you're doing collabs, so, and I lead with a good video first. So if it's a good video, if I extract a good video from somebody, they're going to want to collab. And then if the video does well, they're going to get a lot of views. Now they're kind of indebted to me because I got them a lot of views. Right. So now there's a conversation of like, oh, let's do more videos there, or let's work together. How does this work? So it is selfish. It does get me, a lot of business. But, people, if you're struggling to grow, like it's easy to tap into other people's audiences. And most people like, at least, somebody like Pineda or like even like a Cardone, like they want good videos. So like the follower count doesn't really matter. Right. If you can provide good videos, any video can go viral. Yeah. So it's like, I that's why I love leading with videos and like, specifically interview content. Like, because if I can extract something better than somebody else, I'm going to make a better video. It's probably going to get views, and if it gets views, now I'm on somebody's radar.
Yeah. I have this metaphor that I use, and I always say content creation is like a conversation. The more you engage, the more insight and perspective you get. Right. And in that, it's just like social media. The more you engage, the more you're social on social media, the more insight, perspective, the farther you go, the further you reach, the more views, the bigger the following. Like that's all a part of this. Right. And what you just described is literally filming a conversation and making a conversation into something bigger than what it started off to be. So I think like this is perfect for anyone who's like, I don't know what to do yet. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to present as. I don't know what I'm going to sell. I don't know. This is one way to get started. Just have the conversation.
Yeah, it's everybody loves it's podcasts. Like what I do on my page is kind of like I guess what we call like a micro podcast. Like I just look at, okay, I don't need to talk to somebody for an hour. if I ask them 10 questions.
10 questions, yep.
I want to, like, you know, people do podcasts to get clips. Like, I just skip the podcast and I get the clips.
Yeah.
And I think if people struggle to make content, like, it's easy to talk to people. Like, I mean, I don't want to say it's easy, because you do have to have a little bit of confidence, and you have to ask, like, I pride myself on asking really detailed and very abrupt questions, because I know that's going to get more views.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, if you struggle to make content, like, just talk to people and film those conversations.
Yeah.
You know, and
I have this, like, I guess this is like my prediction for the next couple years. And you tell me what you think. I believe that communicators, like good communicators, especially those that can draw information from someone, are going to be the only people that see the separation in creator, like from following to views to all of that, in the next couple years. And one reason is because of AI, and we'll get into that, but mainly because even if you look at it now, like you go to YouTube right now, long form is being rewarded. Those individuals that can have that really long 2-hour to 5-hour podcast like a Rogan, those are the individuals that are seeing, you know, the most growth in every area. That is because they're able to communicate, you know, well enough to keep your attention, and they're able to talk to a guest and really draw out information. What's your thoughts on that? Do you believe that, like, this, you know, simple content that's being created for the short form, only short form, will continue to kind of thrive the way it has in the last couple of years? Or do you believe like that separation may happen between the good communicators?
Well, I mean, communication is everything. Like, everybody's making the same videos. What separates somebody if they're all the same? It's the person talking. So it's like how you communicate, how you speak, vocal tonality. I think that's more important than, like, I think that's the most important part. Like, when I'm looking at like a creator or somebody that wants to work with me, or like, we're like, okay, I look at somebody, I assess them as a person first. Like, can you go viral? Like, is your personality viral? Like, and sadly, a lot of people are not viral, you know, and and by working on your speech patterns, and short form has kind of changed communication, as far as, like, I speak very punchy, like, because I'm used to communicating in like a minute or less. And like, that's not saying that, you know, even holding somebody's attention for 2 hours, like a Rogan, is a skill. You know, so, you know, to, you know, piggyback off what you said, yes, I think communication is like, that's the definitive factor of everything. You know, how do you talk? How do you, you know, do you have fluctuations in your tonality? Do you, like, are you confident on camera? Like, can you appear confident? Like, I think communication it's, if somebody were looking at a video and they're like, I want to be a Ryan Pineda, it's like, okay, but you're not Ryan Pineda. You don't talk like Ryan Pineda. You don't have charisma. You don't have this. Like, and I believe that you can build all that. Like, I didn't have that when I started. Like, I built that, and it comes with reps. Like, you know, content creation is like going to the gym. Like, you don't bench 315 the first day.
No, you got to build that muscle.
Yeah, you know, some people are more gifted than others, you know, but that's more like personality and like tonality and, you know, like charisma, and all that matters. But it's like, all that can be trained over time, you know? And I think that's, you know, specifically like the difference between short and long. It's like, the better you get at short, the better your long is going to get too. You know, because I think that, you know, they're mutually exclusive. Like, you can't have one without the other. Like, you know, I mean, even me, like, I go live for 2 hours every Wednesday night now, from 9 to 11. I never have a plan. Like, I just show up and I can talk for 2 hours. Like, that's a skill. I know most people can't do that. Like, that's come because I filmed hundreds, if not thousands, of other videos. But yeah, I think communication, specifically in the short form world, is like, that is a deciding factor that will keep people from getting views and not getting views. Like, you have to work on how you talk. And I think that's hard for a lot of people, because it's, oh, we can just make a better edit. It's like, but you sound shitty. Like, you don't talk good. You know, I can't make an edit, you know, of a shitty person. Like, it's still going to be a shitty video, but you can, you know, and it's not easy. It's not easy to communicate better. Like, that's a hard skill, like communication, like, you know, speaking in public, you know, like, you're absolutely correct. It's a huge factor.
It's a big thing. 'Cause I mean, like you said, you run into a lot of individuals that their mind says, I'm going to go do what he's doing. But the way that they present, they're just not there. Like, Ryan has a lot going for himself that allowed, like, he can come in raw, make up something really quick, and he can sell 80 tickets to the next event like that.
Yep.
Right? But he, like you talked about, the charisma, the way he presents, how he speaks, the look, everything. He has a lot of that going for himself. If you're one of those individuals that don't have all those pieces and maybe don't even have the confidence yet, because a lot of it too is that he speaks with conviction.
Yeah.
Individuals that do it at a high level, whether they know they're saying something that's right or not, there's a lot of conviction in their voice and
they're not
what
wrong.
they're saying. No,
they don't want to be,
and you can't convince them that they are.
Convince them that they are, even if they are.
No way. And so, but that is something that you can develop. You just got to get the reps in.
Yep.
And like you talked about, you got to get in the gym. It's like a muscle. You got to rep so that you're able to get to that 350 that you're trying to bench. It's not going to happen overnight. And so, like you talked about, committing to that year at least.
I like 100 videos. Like 100 videos is like, you do 100 of anything, you're gonna get pretty good at it.
Get better at it.
And that was something, like, because I used to be on YouTube I'm there with shorts now and I'm doing lives, but like YouTube's like a weak platform for me. I'm definitely more suited for Reels and TikTok.
Yeah.
But when I did grow a fashion YouTube channel, like I was like, I'll revisit this when I have 100 videos on the channel.
Right.
And it was like 5 videos a week, for months.
Yeah.
And you do something enough. Like, it's like, you don't get jacked the first day you go to the gym. You just keep showing up.
Right.
And I think content is, shares a similar parallel to that. And it's just over time, like your first video probably sucks, but your 100th is way better.
Yeah.
And I think the deeper thing that most people don't look at is like the person you become when you make that 100th video. Is significantly better.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes on what we were talking about as far as like how you talk, how you communicate. But yeah, it's like people start content because they have to. Like, but it's like you don't have to do it. You don't have to make videos. But if you're doing it, like, at least try.
Try it, right? Right. Try to get good at it.
Commit to it. And that's why I do think like there is something to 100 videos. And for us in short form, it's like 1 video a day for 90 days. That's like 90 videos. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be pretty decent at the end of 90 videos.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to talk, you don't know how to edit, like, you figure it out by the time you get to 90.
And the goal should just be to get better every video. Like, not try to get it all right and perfect first. Like, that was always my hold up because I'm behind the camera.
Yeah.
I've worked in production. So like, even coming from just like TV and movie production to like social media, you gotta remove everything you learned over there. It does not apply at all to this space, right? And so it was like having the ability to like do it the correct way versus doing it the efficient way were two different things.
Yeah.
And so even up like to today, like I decided this month, I was like, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
Right. Part of it was because of this podcast, part of it because of me, having the opportunities to coach and do stages and stuff like that. But like I was like, all right, I don't even want to see it. I'm about to let somebody else edit it and post it. I don't even want to know about it. Right. Like I'll know when something goes up, when I see comments and likes coming through. Other than that, because I was stopping myself from the growth. I really was. Like I was hindering myself by being so particular with what everything looked like, sound like. Sometimes I didn't like what I said or the way I said it, right? Like, and I was really like my own bottleneck in this situation.
Yeah, a lot of people have a hard time like editing themselves. I mean, I did so many. Like I've edited myself so many times that like, I mean, you correct yourself. And it kind of comes back to what we were talking about, like getting better at communicating. Like, I found for like the first year of me making videos on YouTube, I said the like. And you're editing yourself and you're cutting out the same word like 50 times. And it's just like, maybe I should just stop saying that. Like, cause I'm going to save all this time here. Yeah. But I think, to what you said, I mean, now like I'm very detached from like videos. Like they're videos to me. It's like, okay, I made a video. Like, did it do good? Did it get views or did it not? Like you can't find, if you find yourself in the comments, like hypercritical of yourself, like you're never going to succeed at it. Yeah. You have to check out. And I mean, at the start, it's hard because you're probably editing yourself, you're filming, like, and that's like going to the gym. It sucks when you start, but you get better at it. Right. So yeah, I mean, if somebody's listening to this and they're stuck in their head about like, oh, I hate how I sound, I hate this. It's like that might make sense for you to outsource this, because you need to put the videos out. Man. Right? And, you're your harshest critic. Like, I hate myself on camera. Like, I look fat. I sound stupid. I don't like my hair. My eyebrows fucked up. Like, you will make everything. Excuse.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I found myself doing that, like, to the point, because I was editing my own stuff. And so I was like, I'm like, man, I don't want to have the same edits everybody else has. It's just all the silly stuff that really is just you, like, almost I'm finding reasons not to do this.
Yep.
All right. When realistically, it's only for my benefit to just throw it out there and let it be what it is.
Yep.
I mean, anybody that hates it, I'm never gonna know anyway. Right? They're not gonna say it to me.
No.
They're not gonna, outside of my wife. My wife will say it to me. She
She'll
told,
say you
yeah,
stupid.
and it's funny because she notices things too. Like, she told me the other day, she was like, "You got to stop saying it's funny after." And I say that when I'm trying to think of my next thought.
I mean, everybody has their little transition words or whatever you want.
I was like, where did you hear that? Like, what are you watching that you even know that? She's not even on social media. So I'm like, how do you even know that? But those are the things that, like, now when I was filming today, I was like, okay, make sure that I'm not doing that. Make sure that, you get conscious of it just to get better and better every video, right? As best as you can. And so it's a really interesting thing. My next question, though, for you, because, like, I found you, I think my first piece of content that I saw of Ryan Magin was you doing the how to get a girl type of video.
Yes.
Now, I'm going on 10 years of marriage, so it doesn't apply to me. I was like, this is pretty tight, but it doesn't apply to me. I was like, I should DM him. I got some stuff he should do some videos on, just messing around.
Yeah.
But I was like, this applies to so many individuals, and where my mind goes, because this is how I kind of intake content, I look and see why this worked. My mind was like, he's talking to so many people, whether they're male or female, right? Because the female is like, oh yeah, I heard that before. Like, somebody's done that before, right? And the male's like, oh, I'm gonna try that the next time, right?
Yep.
And so it's like, it's really interesting, like that you did that type of video, and that's how I found you.
Yeah, I mean, and that, like, again, going back to content, like, I try to make content that has a broad appeal. And I mean, sadly, with the nature of culture, with Tinder, Bumble, like, communication skills are not at an all-time high. So videos about making friends, talking to girls tend to do really well because guys lack in that area. And I've never really had that problem. I've always been a very social guy. I've never struggled to have conversations with people. But I also, in reference to that video, that like I made a video telling people to go out by themselves. And when I did that, that was the first video that got 5 million views. It was my first soiree outside of making videos about making videos, because that's all I did. So I was like, here's how to make better videos for TikTok. Here's how to do this. Here's how to edit this. And I made that video because I was at an event where a friend of mine has a dating company, and he had, like, I think it was like 15 guys that paid, a couple $1,000s to be in a room. And and he asked me to come speak. And I was like, I'm just gonna put my camera here and I'm gonna tell them, because I shared a personal story of how I met friends when I moved to a new city.
Okay.
But I broke it down very well, and I made it repeatable so somebody could do it, and it got 5 million views. Wow. But people don't realize, like, that video, that was when I realized, okay, there's niche videos and then there's broad reach videos. Up until that point, I think I had like maybe 25,000 followers on TikTok. And then I made that video. I got 60,000 followers from that video. Like,
one video.
Wow. But it's a video of people, like, and I do make a lot of, like, I'm generally, like, I love the service industry. Like, we're in Vegas. Like, I went out last night. Like, I love the service industry as a whole, and that comes with tipping, and, like, but if you tip well, you get access. And, like, I just like to share stories about that, because it's also polarizing to be like, I tipped a guy $100, or, like, I did this. It's I like unique ways to meet people, because, I mean, as you obviously in this industry, like, the people you meet, like, it's just like one person and it's like this and leads to this and leads to this. So it's like the making friends videos, like, people struggle with that. And I was like, yo, I'll make videos about this all day, because I have a lot of frameworks for this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're tried and tested on, these different things. And so, I found it, like, super, because then I was like, man, he's not really doing, like, I was like, where's the value? Then I was like, wait a minute, he's talking to a large group of people. There's a lot of value in that. And so I really found it interesting. I'm gonna move on, because I want to talk, I don't want to hold you too long, but I want to talk about some things too. My next question, because you have a considerable amount of following, the people that I'm around and that we're in this industry with, they really kind of, they drive a lot of business off their following. What do you say for those individuals though that are, it's not the real following, it's the bought followers, bought views, bought engagement? What's your opinion on individuals that do that? Because I have an opinion I'm gonna share with you afterwards, but I want to hear yours first.
I mean, it's useless.
Okay.
Like, if you're buying followers or buying views, you're buying likes on Instagram, it's like it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't do anything. And I mean, I know we live in a world of like clout. Like, people are attached emotionally to their follower count. And yes, in this instance, I can see, okay, like, oh, I have more followers, I feel better, But when it comes to like an account, like when I'm looking to work with somebody, that's the first question I ask is like, is this fake? Like, or how much of it's fake? Or have you ever done this? Because, I just think it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I've never done it on my account. I've never bought anything. Like, and it's really easy to spot. Like, if you've never bought it before too.
Right.
Like, one of the ways that like, story views kind of tell all in my world. It's like, how many story views do you have? Because story views are like your people. They're the ones that care about
actual
you.
Followers.
They're your actual followers. You can't fake that shit. Yeah. So it's like, you could buy 100,000 fake followers, but if 4 people are watching your stories, I'll see it eventually.
Right.
So I don't get it. I don't know. I just like.
Yeah, so here's my opinion. I agree with you 1,000%, right? Like, don't ruin your opportunity of organic following and growth by trying to speed up the process. Buying followers, buying engagement, likes, that is speeding up the process. And it's really in the long run going to slow you down.
Yeah, well,
I've seen people's pages ruined because of like when they finally decided to do it, like where they're not buying anymore, their engagement is terrible, and it's so hard to build that back because you have 60% of your following isn't real. And so that was a big thing. Like, I've seen that, so I always try to tell people to avoid that process, because I've had people come through and after they've been in the program for a month and a half, they're like, look, bro, I know somebody who just bought 20K and now they're on stage, right? And so,
I've seen people buy some shit
like crazy,
like
crazy numbers. And so, but here's the other part. Like, for me, right? Like, I understand the psychology behind trying to do different things and needing validity to do them. And I believe that sometimes that number that they see there is the validity that they need, and it does work at times, right? Like you said, like this guy that I know, he is like traveling, doing stages, and none of his following is real outside of the people that might follow after he gets off the stage, right? And then in that case, they don't stay because even the content isn't that valuable. So it was like, I get it. Like, I understand, like, but if your goal again, and I guess that's what for me is, that's how I determine, how I judge that. If your goal is to get validity and you don't have a product and you just want to be like, you want to play the famous thing, if that's the case, then, go do. I'm not the one that's to work with you. Like, you're not for our kind of landscape. But if you're really trying to do it and you're trying to speed up the process, just save some time on the back end and don't do that. All right.
Well, like, also too, it's like, I had a meeting 2 days ago with a guy and his following was not all real. And I was like, what? Like, I can't even look at this. Like, there's no data even still. Like, all of your views are fake. Like, I don't even know how to tell you to make a good video because I need to see the data from the video. And it's all fake. So it's like, I can't even give you like feedback right now.
I can't coach you.
So it's, I don't know. I just never, it is very hard to grow a following. Like, and it's a commitment, and it's the people that have the followings, it's like they earned it. It's like, you can cheat and you can put a number there, but at the same time, what's the point? Like, I know, like, if I stayed at the Win, I've been recognized multiple times. Like, that's real. If I was buying views, what's the point? Like, there's no point.
You're only famous in your head.
Like,
that's it. You're famous to no one else. You and your family are the only people that know you.
So I just never get it, but it is a real thing. It just doesn't make sense. And once you start, you can't stop it either. It's like, so you buy, let's say you buy 20,000 followers, then it's like, okay, well, now I got to buy the likes on the post. So then now you're paying like a service to buy likes. And then you're like, oh, well, I can't have this many likes without this many comments. And now you're paying somebody to comment. It's like,
what are we doing?
Like, why are you, now you're just spending all this money for shit that doesn't make any damn sense. Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, and it never makes you money, right? Like if that's a plan, then you're wrong about it. It's not gonna produce anything. So that's always a thing. Like, when it comes to the creation process, you always have those individuals. And I mean, I've been in the same room with some people, and I'm like, there's no way that you have 100,000 followers and you got the same amount of views that I got with my 6,000. There's just no way.
Well, Instagram's, I mean, it's the one that everybody fakes. That's why I love TikTok. You can't fake TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a good video, it's gonna get views. If it's a bad video, it's not gonna get views.
Yeah.
Like, there's no it's very cut and dry.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I love TikTok for that. Yeah. Like, TikTok said you could buy fake followers on TikTok. Yeah. But you make a bad video, you ain't gonna get no views.
Yeah. And it's gonna show. Everybody's gonna see it.
Everybody's gonna see that shit.
Do you have any concern about the future of TikTok?
Nah. I mean, TikTok, it's a form of video. It's short. I mean, TikTok is Reels is Shorts. Like, it's whatever Twitter makes, it's whatever Pinterest makes. Like, so like if they were to ban TikTok, I mean, I'm just gonna post Reels. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I like TikTok. I have a lot of followers there. Yeah. I do have an emotional attachment and like an identity built around my following on TikTok. If something were to happen to the app and it disappears, like, I will be a little depressed. Right? But like, it's video. Like, and I call it like one platform wonders. Like, you need everywhere.
Every platform.
So it's not just one. Like, so it's like, if TikTok is, I mean, if TikTok was the only business, that's a bad business to be in. It's like, you don't want your stream of only have one stream of income.
All right.
You don't want one stream of followers and views. So it's like, I love that there's like, TikTok, there's Shorts, there's Reels, there's like, it's great. So it's like, TikTok goes away. It's like, okay, I'm still gonna go viral on Reels. I'm still gonna make videos for Shorts. Yeah. I think what TikTok did though, like, it changed culture. It changed how people watch videos, and that is I don't know that like that was the goal of TikTok maybe when they started, but that's what they did. They changed content, and if TikTok were to go away, something else will come. Like, I'd be excited if something else comes. It's like a new platform, So
yeah. Are you like obviously TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, those are all like kind of like, those are the three main kind of,
and Facebook
Twitter, Facebook's in there. I always kind of get Facebook and Instagram kind of the same thing. Yeah. But like, you got Twitter in there. Are you active on Twitter too?
I am not active on Twitter.
No Twitter. Okay. What about like the LinkedIns and the Snapchats?
I have one. I'm not active. I focus on the big four.
Yeah.
And that, that I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying like, I could be everywhere. But, for me, like, I like the platforms. I like TikTok. I like Instagram. I like Facebook. I don't like Twitter. I'm not a Twitter guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a LinkedIn guy. So.
And I asked you that because you mentioned going live. So I wanted to talk about Twitch a little bit. Now, I'm not completely like a master and read up all about Twitch, but I do understand that the streaming in today's culture of video is massive right now, right? Like, these creators that are coming on as just streamers in the worst looking type of setting that they have, right? Like, it's usually the bed in the background messed up, right? Like, they're seeing great success on the amount of views and the amount of support that they're getting. Yeah. What's your thoughts on that as you talked about, you live stream for 2 hours?
Well, one of the things, like, when it comes to short form, I know people have opinions on, like, the depth of content, like, as far as like, is short form as effective as long form? Like, I do a lot of short, and I know I should have some long. So like, naturally, like, I love the idea of streaming and going live because you can't fake it. And that's why I think people like streaming. People like streaming because it's real.
Yeah, it's authentic.
Like, it's some dude in his bedroom, like. I think it's super authentic. Myself personally, I'm going to commit to going live every week from 9 to 11. And also too, that's like terrifying. It's like, I have to show up. Even when I'm traveling, I'm like, I have to bring my camera. I have to show up 9 to 11 every Wednesday night. Like, I tuck my daughter in and I go to my studio and I go live. I think that there's a level of authority that is, portrayed if you just speak, without like a plan. Like, yes, I'm not saying anybody can make a YouTube video, but like, you can make a 10-minute YouTube video, you can script it, you can film line by line, but you just go live and talk about it like you're a true subject matter expert at that point. So I think that the like streaming as a whole, it's so authentic, you know. And for me, it's a way for me to connect with the long form because I'm so like over the top with my edits that if I were to make like a 5-minute YouTube video, I'm going to spend 25 hours editing it and I'm never going to get anything done.
Yeah.
So I put all my effort into short and then I just go live. You know, and there are people that kill it with streaming. Like I think it's very underutilized because it's a commitment. Like you have to show up. Like and going back to like creating content in general, it's a muscle. Like it sucks. Like I went live last week to 14 people. I have 250,000 followers on TikTok. I have 100,000 on Instagram.
Yeah.
But that was 14 people that watched me the whole time. Yeah. Like an entire conversation.
2 hours. Yeah, I love that too, right? Like because I suggested for some people in our program to start doing lives. And I told them flat out, I was like, if there is a feature on the app, use it.
Yep.
They want you to use it. Like if you're trying to get pushed and you're trying to grow, use the features that are offered.
Yep.
If you see that live button and you're not doing anything, or you got something to say that you don't have, maybe you don't have someone to talk to in a podcast. Maybe you don't, or maybe this information just came out. It's red hot right now and you don't really want to make trendy videos. This is an opportunity to do that. Go live. So like you talked about 14 people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's a real thing. Like even someone who has the following, even someone who has like 14 people are, it doesn't matter. Like that's the start. Yeah. When we have a conversation again, maybe it's 3 months from now.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, dude, my live right now is crazier than anything else that I'm seeing.
I mean, I set a goal, like, and I mean, shamelessly, like I work with Brandon Carter, King Keto, and he told me specifically, he's like going live because he goes live every Tuesday from 8 to 10. He's like, going live is the best thing I've ever done for my business. Wow. Like it's like, and I was like, fuck, all right, so I gotta do it.
Yeah.
So that's why, and I base it off of because I like Vanderpump Rules, like a TV show. I'm like, you have to go live when everybody's paying attention too. So it's like 9 to 11, like that's a shitty time for me, but it's a great time for everybody else.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see like a surge of people going live. I mean, at least I hope so. Yeah. I'm trying to push my clients to do it because it's great for content too. Like, I stream, I got a nice camera, we clip it, it's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard.
It's work.
Yeah. And I look at it like, I try not to get attached to like 14 people. Like the first time I did it was like 55 people. Like the second time was like 22. But I look at it like, okay, in a year, can I have 1,000 people watching me live every week? I think that's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, and I hope it gets there. I don't know. Like, I want to keep doing it. Like,
I mean, when we did it, the Wealthy Wednesdays, when we were going live on Twitter, we're going live everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? You're talking about at the most, I think at a time, we may have saw like 450, 500 at a time for that 2.5 hour that they were live. And to somebody that's used to getting a lot of views, that's like, bro,
that's nothing.
It's too much work for that amount. But when you really think about it, like 300 of these people stayed with you for 2.5 hours.
The watch time. I mean, from an influential standpoint, going live is like, I mean, it's a seminar every week.
Yeah.
It's like, people want to say, like you don't build influence through like short form content because it's so quick. It's like, yeah, but if you add short form and live, I'm banking that right now. I don't know if it's the best. I'm 4 weeks in. So.
Yeah. We'll discuss it later once we, you kind of get some proof on that. It's very interesting. I think if anybody has the ability to, they should definitely go live. Just don't do bad lives. Like I hate lives that's like the audio's bad. Yeah, it's like this is 50% of my experience right now. Yeah. Right? Like I want to sit here with you, but I can't hear you good. And it's like
you got to set it up like
right.
I mean, nice camera, but again, that's a commitment.
Yeah.
You got to commit to the live.
Yeah. Got to get some. You got to really commit enough to be willing to even invest in what you need to be able to do it. So. Hopefully, they're hearing us on that for sure.
I hope so.
Let's get into, I always say, like, when people ask me who's Ryan Magin, I always go king of the captions, right? That's what I always say, right? Because your subtitles now are, they're so well known now that they're being mimicked, right? Like, and it's almost like, guys, that's not the font. Y'all like, come on, let's get the font right, at least.
The bold font.
Yeah. So, but it's always fun to see that, when something has that amount of influence and it's just, now I'm seeing like they're trying new things, different ways of creating. And, you know, I was against it at first because I was like, man, everybody looks the same. Like, why does everybody? But that's me being a creator and like trying to.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, Justin, you idiot. It works. Like, why are you trying to fight against something that works? Like, so tell us about how you kind of got, you know, started with that and knowing that this was the way that, you know, to do it.
I didn't know that it was, you know, like, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I started on TikTok right at like lockdown, like pandemic time, like, and at the time it was there wasn't very many educators on I think Ryan was one of very few educators on the platform. And I looked at it, I was like, oh, there's an opportunity here. And then, you know, you look at what was doing well elsewhere. Like you look at like a Gary Vee who was crushing it on Instagram, obviously. You know, he had, you know, the progress bar and you know, the captions underneath. So I looked at it like, you know, I came to TikTok with the idea that I was going to film with a camera and edit on my laptop because everybody else was filming with their phone, editing on their phone.
Yeah.
I did that to stand out. I didn't have to do that when I started, but that made me different. So, you know, when it came to, you know, the app was kind of maturing, it was like 3-4 months in, you know, I started getting a lot of comments like, you need to subtitle your videos. And I was like, so
you're not actually the king of, somebody else was the king.
Yeah, somebody else was like, you need to subtitle your videos. And it was the deaf community.
Yeah, okay.
And I actually had some drinks one night and I was like replying to comments. Probably is the best thing to do.
It's the worst.
But I shared the deaf community, like they were like, you need to subtitle your videos. And I was already spending like an hour like editing and filming my videos, like which was unheard of for TikTok at the time. And then they're like, you need to subtitle your videos. And I was like, I knew that was gonna add another hour to my editing time. And I begrudgingly commented, don't you guys have an app for that? And it was to somebody that was obviously deaf. And, you know, I could see how I looked like an asshole. But I commented that. And then like the deaf community kind of attacked me on one video.
Okay.
And then out of spite, I said, I'm going to make the most obnoxious subtitles ever. And the next day when I went to edit my video, I word by word put subtitles on my videos out of like spite. And I did that for like 5 or 6 videos after that. And then the watch time increased and the videos got more views. And I was like, oh, fuck, this works. And that's kind of where it started, you know, and then, you know, obviously I had some very big clients, a lot of people that got very famous very quickly, that, you know, me and my team were editing their videos. So then the style just fucking
just kind of
spread.
Yeah, it's crazy now. Like you don't see too many talking heads without them. No,
it's definitely the industry standard. But now it's also like when it came to doing subtitles back then, I used to think those were the secret sauce. Like this is why the videos are doing well. Like, you know, arrogantly, I was like, I created this.
I did this.
Why. You know, but now I look at like subtitles don't mean shit. Like that's not why videos go viral. Like it's the topic, it's the video, it's how it's perceived, it's how it's, you know, it's how it's spoken. You know, so I think it's just kind of interesting now. Like I don't even like the subtitles.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So, but you know, to back on that, it's like subtitles are like sprinkles on a cake. You know, it's like sprinkles on your ice cream cone. Like they add, you just need them.
And and to me, it shows that effort was put in. Right, and it doesn't matter. I don't care if it's the bow font or not. Right, like it could be anything. There's effort put in, you know, to kind of, you know, create this experience when I'm viewing it. I know too, like I always tell our clients that, look, not everybody watches it with the sound on.
Yeah, I think most people watch it with sound off.
Yeah, I believe so too. Like most people are on social media at times that they really shouldn't be on social media.
Yeah, they're at work, they're driving,
they're doing something. Where they shouldn't be really staring at their phone. And so a lot of times that audio can't be played out loud. And so I think like it creates this experience where I know for me, if I see something I like and I can't hear it, I'll read it and watch it or whatever, and then later on I'll go back so I can hear, especially if I see like you laughing or something like that. I'm like, I want to hear exactly what, you know, how it was said so that I can, you know, enjoy that experience. But it is true, although they're not like the secret sauce to growth or secret sauce to views, they are a big part of the viewer's experience.
It's user experience. Like, you know, whether they're big and bold and a lot of pictures, like it's, you know, most people are watching it without their sound on, so you just you have to have them. Right? You know, it was just I would have never guessed like that would have been the thing.
Yeah.
Like when I originally I'm gonna make some obnoxious subtitles. And it sucks because they're hard to do, and I still I hate the apps. I like the hand done.
Do it organically. Y'all go into that software and y'all make it work for where.
Yeah, I mean now Premiere Pro has auto caption and you have AI. That shit didn't exist when I made it.
All that work you put in. But that's what happens though. You lead in an area, and then other people find more efficient and unique ways to make it easier, right? And that's, I mean, I'm seeing it now. It's funny, the AI stuff, and we could get into it a little bit. At first, I'm watching people in my industry, specifically that are on the back end of everybody's process, with a lot of concern, right?
Yeah.
This thing just cut up a podcast in 4 minutes, right? What's the editor gonna do if that can happen now? And I really every time I hear that, I'm like, guys, stop worrying about what these AIs are doing and figure out how to use them to your advantage, right? Make them a tool in your system, in your process. Don't fight against it because it's coming. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can do, but I learned too, prompting meant something. You have to be able to even prompt these things and tell them what to do.
You have to type in what to spit out.
You'll never be able to get rid of the human experience. I'm a believer of that. There's some people that's no, they're coming. This AI is going to give you that same. I'm no. Even in the podcast edits, I'm yeah, it's cool, but sometimes I want to see when someone's just laughing without a sound. We still have nonverbal cues that we make that need to be illustrated on the podcast, need to be illustrated on the video that AI can't pick up, right? And so, those things are still going to matter. But yeah, tell me what your experience, or do you have AI in your process?
I mean, I've experimented with it. We don't use it at all. I mean, so I employ, I have 9 full-time video editors. We do 4,000 videos a month. AI hasn't really improved a whole lot for me. I think for newbie creators, maybe it's help you with some topic ideas, but none of those topic ideas are going to be the ones that go viral. I was joking. Somebody commented on this was yesterday. Somebody commented because I shared that my short form agency did $1 million, and they were like, "You're going to be replaced by AI," and I'm like, okay,
no views.
So it's. I believe in the human interaction and emotion and creativity. I think it will be humans controlling AI. So they'll be using AI, but it will be a human telling AI what to do. But I mean, I guess if you're a shitty video editor, I could see why you'd be worried about fucking AI taking your job. But like we said, there's emotion, there's story structure, and most of I commented on that guy's thing yesterday. I said, if you send me a clip that was cut with AI that had 1 million views, I'll PayPal you $100. I haven't seen one go viral. No. I haven't seen, that was Opus AI, where it's you upload a podcast and it spits out the viral clips. I've used that. Those aren't viral clips. We make a lot of viral clips. Those hooks are shitty. There's no flow to the video. It sucks. Maybe AI in 2 years will be significantly better. But right now, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I did a whole AI, a whole hour-long teaching on AI. One, how to prompt, but also I kind of wanted to make it very clear that to tell a story, right, effectively, you have to kind of have some awareness of the situation.
Yeah.
And these softwares these AIs they don't have that. And I mentioned Ishmael, one of our editors here that does our short form. I go, every time that you all see a short form video come out and it has a whole lot of B-roll, it's because he took parts of a podcast and put it together.
Yeah.
Whatever Ryan just said was not totally done in one sequence.
No, it's like a puzzle.
Yeah, he pieced it together.
Yep.
It took a human to figure that out, though. AI can go in and cut, 30 seconds from something that was said or 2 minutes from something that was said. But it's never, it's not there yet. It can't quite paste things together to tell a story.
Yeah.
And I go, so to be able to do that efficiently, you're going to need the human, right? And like you said, maybe the bad editors, they're going to have some trouble.
Yeah.
They're going to struggle a little bit. But that just means, the humans, we got to get better. right? It's got to push us. So, I find it interesting. I enjoy learning about new technology, just being a geek like that in that area. Because I think, too, when something's presented, people that try to understand it and get on it early are the ones that usually win.
Yeah,
it's like the internet in general, right?
Early adopters tend to do well.
They do well. When the internet first came, I'm sure everybody was like, this is going to be awful. This is going to, things are going to go wrong. Yep. It's going to be a lot of bad people to use it. Yes, these things are all true. But everybody that jumped in on it and started a business on it, right? Like, who you think, like, remember the e-commerce thing? Like, that was crazy, right? Yeah. Like, the individuals that got out early, still winning.
Yep. I mean, it's a tool. Yep. Like it's like a hammer. Like, there's specific instances where you need a hammer, so you use a hammer. Yeah. Like that's how I kind of look at AI. Like, but to what you said, I just like you cannot, you can't put a price tag on creativity. No. And a human can look at something, and if they're good at what they do, especially if you're a video editor, like that human touch, that extended pause to build emotion, that perfectly timed piece of B-roll that makes you laugh, or the structure of like, I found a hook 40 minutes into a podcast that I'm going to use for this clip that was 5 minutes in. Yep. Like that's a person.
Got to do it. Yeah, it's got to be somebody that understands it. That's for sure. So you mentioned the business, the $1 million short form business. I think even that now is like super watered down, right? Yeah. Like seeing a bunch of these businesses comes out. Yeah. What separates yours from like, obviously the views, right? Like I'm aware, but like what separates yours from like the typical kind of media company, I guess you call it?
Well, I mean, I'm a big believer in like the irony of like niching specific. Mm-hmm. Like I only do short form. I'm not fucking with long form. Like there's better people than me at long form. Like that is not my expertise. So like when I started the agency, nobody was doing just short form. There was no short form yet. Yeah, I was gonna say that. So I did have that early adopter, first to market advantage. But one thing that I've just always focused on is you can't compete on edits. Like edits are just like the price of edits is going down. Like there's like, I mean, you see it, you work with like, I mean, creators want to pay less for edits. Editors want to edit, for less. Like they'll do videos for $5. Right. So it's like, I've never, with my business, it's results. Like I'm just never been one to shy away from a bold claim. So that's what I guarantee now. If I'm not growing your account based off viral videos, then why would you pay me? Yeah. Like, so when it came to, starting an agency, I was like, I'm going to stay specific to short form and I'm going to get results. Mm-hmm. And I thankfully we're still doing that 2.5 years later. Yeah. But that was kind of I think that there's, short form as a whole, the short form content agency is like a money grab for a lot of people right now. I hope that it just kind of dissipates over time because it's making a lot of shitty video editors. Yeah. There's a very big difference. Like I employ editors. Well, not employ. I have contract employees, but I have editors. Yeah. They're humans. Like they're creative. They burn out. Like, I respect their creativity. So it's, I think that the nature of the short form game is how much can we put out, right, and how shitty does it look? Right. So I take the opposite approach. I'm like, let's be very calculated. I charge a premium. I film in person. We fly all over. It's a very like premium service, right, which is why it obviously makes the money it does. Yeah. But I couldn't charge what I'm charging without getting results. So if I'm not getting results, then nobody's going to pay
Nobody do it. Yeah. Are you really particular with who you have or you take on as a client?
Yeah. I mean, I've never run ads for clients. At some point, maybe I will, but, for the most part, everything that I've grown, 0 to 1 million, was all word of mouth because of results. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's Pineda. We work with Ryan. He's like, hey, I work with Ryan. His shit works. You should work with him. And then it leads to this, and this. But, I just think people are afraid to offer results and that like you can't compete on edits. The edits are only going to get more complicated and take longer. Yeah. Like, that's it. Like, and you're seeing it now. Like the basic subtitles are now like, high level B-roll, this, like, it's like, that just takes more time. Like, so in my agency, I focus on like what's, makes the most impact, which is the filming process. And then so to do the filming process well, you have to have unique individuals. So yeah, when I'm looking at somebody and I know you're hiring me because you're like, hey, if I'm paying you $10,000 a month, you better make me viral.
Yeah.
Well, I have to look at somebody and go, can you go viral?
Can you even do it? Yeah.
And I'm fortunate now, most of the clients that come to me are already very high level. So yeah, they can go viral. But to answer your question, yes, it's, I've turned away a lot of people because it's like, I can't make you go viral, or at least not quickly, and it's like, if you're paying me this much and we're putting this much effort in, then I understand that you need the results. You want to make money.
And they're going to be looking for those results really quick, right? Like, it's like, hey, I've been with you now for 6 weeks. Where's my first video?
Views? Where's my views? And it's like, well, you're kind of shitty on camera and you don't know how to talk, But yeah, I'm very particular with who I can work with because they're also my reputation too. Is like, if I fail, then that's like a chink in my armor,
right?
So, I do cherry pick now. I mean, unfortunately, like I don't have to take every client, like nor would I want to take every client. But I think that agencies fall into that trap where they'll take on anybody. Yeah. And I'm like, maybe it's okay if you say no to that client.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to, even for like in the freelance space, right? Like not every like money grab is a good opportunity, right? Like sometimes it can do more damage than that money that you receive, would help. So it's important to kind of be selective and know like really know what your deliverables are, right? Like, and when you can set them yourself, like you're saying, then yes, these are my deliverables. I'm gonna get you that. I need to see what you have to even help me get there, though. Like I need to make sure. So it's interesting. Let me ask you though, what's some advice you would give to an individual who's looking to start their agency or media company in today's kind of market?
Well, I mean, you got to stand out. Like there will always be room for results. If you do good videos, I just don't like competing on videos. Like it's not a good, it's a bad strategy. It's just only going to go down. So like if I were starting over again, it would just be like, it's on the filming process and, the idea process and the results. But I mean, it's also too, if I were starting over with an agency, I don't know if I wouldn't start a short form one right now. Everybody's doing it. Like when I started it, there was nobody doing it. Like it made sense. Like it was different. Now, like, I think there's a world for like 2 to 3 minute clips. Like I would probably start like that type of agency. Or like another one was like me and Luis, we joke, we call it pod hooks, like where you help podcasts come up with hooks. I think that would be like a cool thing to start. But it's it's just it's very saturated now. So the only thing that's going to keep you different is results.
No, for sure, for sure. That's great advice. I mean, even in our strategy here, with Ryan, we're going from doing the medium form content of YouTube to like, all right, we're not doing that anymore. We're going to focus on the long form podcasting, but we're not totally getting rid of like what that medium form looks like. So we're still filming all those things that we usually would be filming. Like let's say for instance, like if we were making a vlog, we're still filming all those instances. It's just like you talked about, that 2 to 3 minute clip that we want to use. That's where those will be going now, because I think that's also where with the rise of short form, that's where the attention span is. A vlog may not necessarily perform the way we need it to. Versus it being cut up to maybe a couple of 3 minute clips or a couple of 2 minute clips, right? Like, so that's kind of that's our strategy as well in that instance. So
I think and agencies, people make the mistake when they start an agency. They go for everything. Like there's money in specificity, and it's just like when I started short form, it was only short form. Like we just do this, like, and I know a lot of agencies that are doing, I would say similar revenue to my agency, but they do YouTube, they do podcasts, they do
everything.
Like it's not only short form. So I think there always is room for like specificity of like skill sets. And that's I'm not great at long form.
I mean, what you're doing is what you're good at, and you're doubling down and going all in on what you're good at, which is what everyone should really do. If everybody stick to what they're good at, there's space for everybody and everybody will win.
Yeah.
When people try to, kind of do, be the jack of all trades, that's when things get a little muddy and may not actually perform the way they want to. So then you get clients that aren't happy, you get edits that are terrible, and it all just starts to kind of go bad. So it's very important that as individuals, you recognize what you can do good and really hone in and even get better at it, and in the long run. I usually end this podcast with a video or a picture of some sort that I found on your page that I want you to explain and talk about. That's usually how I end it.
I like that.
But I was going through yours and I was like, he's got so much that to even get way back is a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
So instead of showing you something and having you kind of talk about it, I want you to give me two, I guess, stories. One, your craziest experience. Like, what's one? Maybe you were doing an interview and you asked a question and you got an answer that you weren't expecting. All right, like crazy story like that. And then two, what was your favorite piece of content that you put out?
Okay. First question, crazy say, the first time I was like, I'm gonna do interview videos. I'm gonna try this style. I went to the mall, which is Tyrone Mall. It's in St. Petersburg, Florida. Okay. It's not like I would say a wealthy area.
Okay.
Unique individuals go to this mall. And I think the third person I asked, and we found really quickly that the initial question I was setting out to ask was, what's a business idea you had but didn't act upon? I found out really quickly people don't have ideas. So we switched up the question to what's a weird way you've made money in the past? And the second person I asked, well, it was two younger girls. They just happened to be OnlyFans models, and one sold feet pics. And I was like, "You really do this?" I was genuinely shocked. They were servers at Hooters, and they sold feet pics on the internet. And then the next girl I asked, because generally speaking, younger girls get more views. So I look for them. The next girl was got married in Mexico for $100.
No way.
I stopped halfway through the video. I was like, is this fucking real?
Yeah.
Is this a real story? Because it was so, and that video didn't do that well. I was surprised. But
gotta repost it, man. Get it back out. See what happens.
Fascinated by the fact that this girl got married for $100.
That's crazy.
And she was remarried in America and was still married in Mexico.
Jeez.
I was fascinated by that.
That is crazy. I guess too, doing that type of content, you don't know what the individual might say.
No. But that was, yeah, I try and I'm not shocked by a lot anymore, because I'm generally asking for the shocking stuff. But yeah, that was, it's fun. I never know where it's going to go.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your favorite piece?
I don't have a specific favorite. It's more to me, it's a game. I want to get views. I'm driven by virality, and it's I don't think a video is good if it didn't get 100K. It's hard for me to go, what's my favorite? My favorites all tend to be the viral videos.
Well, maybe not favorite. Maybe it's the one you had the most fun making.
Yeah, I've made a couple of pretty big viral videos. One had the friend video that we talked about earlier in this podcast. I think that had a really good impact on a lot of people. And then I also, one was tipping $100 at your local 5-star hotel. That's my favorite because I go to the hotel that I mentioned in there a lot, and everybody that works there knows me because of that video. And
they all trying to service you. Everybody's running to service you over there.
So I think that's it's also the impact of videos. I did another one was how to make money on TikTok if you're broke. People actually use that to make money. I think that's cool. Yeah. So that does make me, I have an affinity towards that video because it helps people. So but yeah, it's I would say my favorite's the one I haven't created yet because I'm always trying to outdo the last. Yeah. So. But yeah, I like the how to make money take out you're broke and the go out by yourself. Those are two very impactful videos. I think that helped a lot of people. So yeah, I like those.
All right, Ryan. Well, I appreciate you, man. This has been fun. To everybody that's listening, everybody that's watching, I appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you're following so that you get updates and everything that's going to go on. Make sure you follow Ryan's pages. We're gonna put them down in the links below. And I look forward to seeing you again and talking to you again, man.
Always
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, bro.